I'm thrilled to announce my new album, Happy Together, a project years in the making, finally brought to life as my orchestra, and I reunited after a long pause. But while music lovers celebrate, Hollywood faces a heartbreaking blow. The beloved maestro André Rieu's son has just revealed devastating news. For more than 5 decades, André Rieu, dubbed the King of the Waltz, has captivated audiences worldwide with his spellbinding performances and charismatic presence. Yet, a troubling pattern of canceled concerts sparked growing concern among his devoted fans. Whispers about his health swirled through the grapevine, but for a long time, no official word emerged. Now, with a heavy heart, his son has broken the silence, confirming what many feared. André Rieu is grappling with a serious health crisis that could mark the twilight of an extraordinary career in classical music. So what exactly is the battle this legendary violinist faces? How will it impact the man who has become synonymous with joyous, sweeping melodies that transcend generations? Stay with us as we delve into the emotional story behind Rieu's diagnosis and the poignant farewell from his family. This is not the first time Rieu has fought against the odds. The Dutch maestro's electrifying performances as the driving force behind the Johann Strauss Orchestra have enchanted crowds across continents. His concerts have been nothing short of magical, drawing fans young and old alike. Yet beneath the dazzling spotlight, Rieu has long wrestled with health challenges that once threatened to derail his career. Incredibly, up until 2010, he was known for his relentless stamina, never missing a day due to illness and famously claiming jet lag was a foreign concept. But that year, a chilling incident shattered his invincibility. During a holiday in Belgium, Rieu was jolted awake at 3 a.m. by a dizzy spell so severe he described the room as spinning uncontrollably. Initially bewildered, the following day left him feeling utterly drained. The months leading up to this episode had been a whirlwind, juggling a demanding DVD production, diving headfirst into intensive Spanish lessons for upcoming Mexican tours, and battling relentless heat waves. Reflecting on that period, Rieu admitted he lived at extremes, all or nothing. He had long believed that happiness and mental resilience could protect him from illness. But that night forced a harsh reckoning. Doctors later diagnosed him with vestibular neuritis, an infection of the inner ear's nerve that disrupts balance and triggers intense dizziness and nausea. Often sparked by something as simple as a common cold, this condition left Rieu struggling even to stand. As fans and friends rally around the maestro, the question remains, can André Rieu recover and reclaim the stage? Or is this the beginning of the final chapter for one of classical music's most enduring icons? Stay tuned for updates as we continue to follow this deeply personal and poignant journey. Despite his initial determination to brush off the severity of his condition, André Rieu was ultimately compelled to cancel entire tours in Australia and the United Kingdom, a decision that weighed heavily on him. The idea of taking a 6-month hiatus was unimaginable, not only because of his boundless passion for performing, but also due to the significant financial responsibility he bore for his large team of musicians and staff. In the midst of mounting concerns, Rieu underwent a battery of tests, including a brain scan to rule out more sinister causes such as a tumor. Thankfully, the results came back clear. Yet, the path to recovery was anything but straightforward. Committed to regaining his health, Rieu explored every avenue, even welcoming advice from fans around the world. One Australian admirer sent him a detailed letter recommending specific balance exercises, walking in figure eights, controlled eye movements, and standing on one leg with his eyes closed. Rieu embraced these exercises with religious devotion. After 3 arduous months, the exercises worked wonders. He reported a remarkable return to health and, more importantly, a new perspective on life. His ordeal forced him to confront how many non-musical obligations, administrative duties, business ventures, and academic lectures were draining his energy. He famously compiled two lists, one of things he loved and another of those he did not. Unsurprisingly, his passion for music dominated the former, while the latter contained far more items. Resolute, Rieu vowed to eliminate the stressors and realign his life around joy, creativity, and well-being. Medical experts note that vestibular neuritis typically resolves within a few weeks, though a small percentage of patients experience relapses. Aware of this, Rieu acknowledged the ongoing risk and the pivotal role stress played in his condition. Consequently, he made it his mission to focus only on what he loved and to safeguard his health above all else. But just as fans began to breathe a collective sigh of relief, troubling news resurfaced. Recently, Rieu's son disclosed that the maestro was once again confronting a serious health challenge, rekindling fears and painful memories of his earlier battle. Is this another relapse, or something even more ominous? What new fight lies ahead for André Rieu? The harsh reality soon struck. After 6 years, Rieu and his orchestra triumphantly returned to Mexico, with eager fans flocking to sold-out shows. The energy was electric, and the first 2 concerts in Mexico City were met with enthusiastic applause. But less than 24 hours after the second performance, tragedy struck. André Rieu was suddenly overcome by illness. The fears that had been quietly circulating were confirmed. He had contracted a severe flu, accompanied by a high fever and debilitating exhaustion. The grueling tour had to be halted abruptly, with the remaining concerts canceled, leaving fans and the music world holding their breath, hoping for the maestro's swift recovery. Pierre Rieu, André's son and longtime confidant, has since opened up about the harrowing ordeal. He explained that the grueling journey, marked by a long-haul flight, a punishing time difference, and the daunting high altitude of Mexico City, had taken its toll even before the first note was played. With only a single day to rest before the opening concert, André's body was set up for a brutal challenge from the very start. What began as mere discomfort rapidly escalated into something far more severe. Pierre didn't mince words when he described the heartbreak of making a tough call. When André's condition took a serious turn, the only option was to act swiftly and get him back home. For the legion of fans who had waited years, their dreams were abruptly dashed. Meticulously planned concerts shelved indefinitely. But the disappointment ran deeper than the audience alone. The entire team, from musicians to crew members, felt the weight of the cancellation. Pierre acknowledged the collective heartbreak, but was firm in his conviction. Health had to take precedence. The shadow of fear had always lurked in the background, but now it had turned into an undeniable reality. André lay seriously ill for several days, barely able to move or speak, an agonizing stretch that had everyone on edge. Slowly, his strength returned, but it took nearly a full week before the maestro was truly himself again. Reflecting on the experience, Pierre shared a revealing insight. "Yeah, I think it's possible to have fun also in classical music. I think always, why a guy like Mozart?" Yet even with that joyful spirit, the scare was a sobering reminder of the physical limits they all faced. The team's approach to long-distance tours would have to change dramatically. Pierre was candid about the future. If they ever returned to Mexico, it wouldn't be until 2025 or later. The schedule would demand more downtime, more meticulous planning, and a far more cautious approach to risk. After all, at 74 years old, André's body simply can't endure the rigors it once did. Traveling halfway across the globe to places like Australia now feels nearly impossible. Pierre didn't shy away from the tough comparisons fans often make between his father and younger performers or athletes, but the truth is undeniable. "He's not 30 anymore," Pierre said. "The body has limits, and ignoring them could have devastating consequences." Backstage, after his second concert in Mexico City, André was still in good spirits, smiling, engaging with the moment. Yet in quieter conversations with his wife, he admitted he wasn't sure he could endure this type of tour again. His body had been sending warnings, but this time those signals rang louder than ever before. The harsh reality settled in. Pushing through the pain was no longer an option. If André wanted to continue sharing his music with the world, he had to learn to listen, to rest when necessary, and most importantly, to slow down. Yet, the strain extended beyond the maestro himself. The entire ensemble felt the effects of performing at an altitude exceeding 2,000 meters. The thin air challenged every member of the team, highlighting a universal truth. The toll of touring under such conditions is enormous, even for seasoned professionals. There's simply less oxygen at such high altitudes, and it takes a toll on everyone involved. Donna Alberti, one of the lead singers who has been touring with André since January, shared how the effects were palpable even during rehearsals. My face would flush bright red, and nosebleeds became almost routine for the whole crew, she recalled with a wry smile. But beneath the laughter was the undeniable truth of the challenge. During her signature performance of I Will Survive, Donna had to pause mid-song just to drink water and catch her breath, proving just how grueling the conditions had become. Pierre Rieu, André's son and steadfast supporter, expressed immense pride in his father for knowing when to draw the line. Canceling the tour was no easy decision, but pushing forward at the risk of a collapse on stage would have been catastrophic. The impact was felt far beyond André himself. Some 40,000 eager fans had to face disappointment, and an entire crew of 125, musicians, technicians, and staff, were forced to cut their trips short and fly home prematurely. The fallout triggered chaos, ticket refunds, scrambled flight cancellations, and lost merchandise sales. Even more troubling, the tour group lacked insurance to cover this kind of disruption. Emma, another performer on the tour, recounted the surreal shift, from belting out tunes to 10,000 fans one night, to hearing the tour abruptly ended the very next day. Even walking down the street afterward, fans stopped me for photos, unaware it might have been their last chance to see André live in Mexico, she said. The atmosphere at the venue had been electric. Outside, what resembled a bustling marketplace sprang up, filled with unofficial André Rieu merchandise, mugs, plush bears, t-shirts. André himself had chuckled at the sight, soaking in the adoration. Inside, the crowd's energy was relentless. I experienced that every night, he said. People told me it took them weeks to come down from the high after my concerts. Even during encores, when he asked the audience to leave, the chants and cheers drowned out his words, refusing to let him go until he played just one more song. There had been no warning signs of the looming crisis. Yet, in a heartbeat, it all came to an abrupt halt. Back in Moustri, resting and recuperating, André's focus is now on recovery. Pierre remains cautiously optimistic about upcoming shows, Liverpool being the next hopeful stop. But as for Mexico, it might have witnessed the final chapter of Rieu's performances on its soil. His earlier simple plea, "I just want to stay healthy so I can keep doing this," now echoes like a quiet, poignant warning of what may lie ahead. Sadly, this isn't the first time the toll of André's demanding schedule has shaken his team to the core. The seeds of concern were planted years ago after André endured a debilitating inner ear infection, a battle he himself linked to stress and relentless overwork. Back then, he vowed to refocus his life on what truly mattered, his music. For a while, it seemed he was living up to that promise. But the recent upheavals have stirred old fears anew, drawing painful parallels to a scare that once sent ripples through his devoted fan base. There's simply less oxygen at such high altitudes, and it takes a toll on everyone involved. Donna Alberti, one of the lead singers who has been touring with André since January, shared how the effects were palpable even during rehearsals. "My face would flush bright red, and nosebleeds became almost routine for the whole crew," she recalled with a wry smile. But beneath the laughter was the undeniable truth of the challenge. During her signature performance of I Will Survive, Donna had to pause mid-song just to drink water and catch her breath, proving just how grueling the conditions had become. Pierre Rieu, André's son and steadfast supporter, expressed immense pride in his father for knowing when to draw the line. Canceling the tour was no easy decision, but pushing forward at the risk of a collapse on stage would have been catastrophic. The impact was felt far beyond André himself. Some 40,000 eager fans had to face disappointment, and an entire crew of 125, musicians, technicians, and staff, were forced to cut their trips short and fly home prematurely. The fallout triggered chaos, ticket refunds, scrambled flight cancellations, and lost merchandise sales. Even more troubling, the tour group lacked insurance to cover this kind of disruption. Emma, another performer on the tour, recounted the surreal shift. From belting out tunes to 10,000 fans one night, to hearing the tour abruptly ended the very next day. Even walking down the street afterward, fans stopped me for photos, unaware it might have been their last chance to see André live in Mexico, she said. The atmosphere at the venue had been electric. Outside, what resembled a bustling marketplace sprang up, filled with unofficial André Rieu merchandise, mugs, plush bears, t-shirts. André himself had chuckled at the sight, soaking in the adoration. Inside, the crowd's energy was relentless. I experienced that every night, he said. People told me it took them weeks to come down from the high after my concerts. Even during encores, when he asked the audience to leave, the chants and cheers drowned out his words, refusing to let him go until he played just one more song. There had been no warning signs of the looming crisis. Yet, in a heartbeat, it all came to an abrupt halt. Back in Moustri, resting and recuperating, André's focus is now on recovery. Pierre remains cautiously optimistic about upcoming shows, Liverpool being the next hopeful stop. But as for Mexico, it might have witnessed the final chapter of Rieu's performances on its soil. His earlier simple plea, "I just want to stay healthy so I can keep doing this," now echoes like a quiet, poignant warning of what may lie ahead. Sadly, this isn't the first time the toll of André's demanding schedule has shaken his team to the core. The seeds of concern were planted years ago after André endured a debilitating inner ear infection, a battle he himself linked to stress and relentless overwork. Back then, he vowed to refocus his life on what truly mattered, his music. For a while, it seemed he was living up to that promise. But the recent upheavals have stirred old fears anew, drawing painful parallels to a scare that once sent ripples through his devoted fan base. But this time, everything simply became too much. After returning home to Moustri, where he lives with his wife Marguerite, it quickly became evident that trying to make up for the canceled concerts was no longer an option. André Rieu isn't one to openly discuss these struggles himself. That role often falls to his son and spokesperson, Pierre. According to Pierre, multiple factors contributed to his father's fragile health during this tour. Most notably, the grueling altitude of the National Auditorium in Mexico City, which sits nearly 2,500 meters above sea level. That thin mountain air took a serious toll on André's body. Compounding the challenge was a severe flu that swept through him at the worst possible time. When you play in Mexico, with its unique conditions, you have to respect what your body can handle, Pierre noted. Despite a lifelong commitment to fitness, regular tennis matches, jogging routines, and a disciplined diet, André Rieu is no stranger to the limits age imposes. He has always been proud of his stamina and resilience. Yet this time, even his strength faltered. His legs shook on stage. The fear of collapsing mid-performance loomed large. That very real fear forced the rare and difficult decision to cancel the remainder of the tour. Pierre revealed that while his father has often soldiered on through illness, even performing with a fever, this ordeal was different. "It was simply too much," Pierre said quietly. Though André has now made a full recovery, the cancellations left tens of thousands of fans around the world deeply disappointed. Ticket holders will be refunded, but no rescheduled dates are planned in the near future. André confided to his team that he refused to subject himself to such grueling torture again. Long-haul trips to distant places like Mexico and Australia are no longer guaranteed. The brutal combination of jet lag, time zone changes, and exhaustive travel are taking their toll. That said, concerts in South America, in Chile, Argentina, and Colombia remain on the calendar for later this year. But the team now approaches each tour with a cautious eye, weighing carefully which journeys are truly worth the physical cost. From here on out, we take it 1 year at a time, Pierre said. For fans in far-flung locales, there remains hope. Maastricht, André's home base, continues to welcome audiences to his legendary summer concerts at Vrijthof Square, a venue many describe as having the most electric, intimate atmosphere of any performance he gives. André himself admits it's difficult to envision giving up his worldwide tours altogether. His passion for music burns too brightly to simply stop. During his illness, André came to realize just how deeply his work sustains him. Being unable to perform left him restless, even anxious. "Staying home made me feel crazier," he admitted. To safeguard his health moving forward, André and his team have decided to significantly cut back on non-essential activities, fewer interviews, presentations, and press events. He explained that when his schedule becomes too packed, one of his inner ear balance organs begins to malfunction. "The room starts spinning and going on stage becomes impossible," André said candidly. "It's a condition he's been grappling with for over 2 decades, vestibular neuritis, and while it hasn't disappeared, careful management and pacing have allowed him to continue doing what he loves. André Rieu hopes to keep doing what he loves for as long as possible, albeit at a gentler pace, with a renewed focus on the things that truly matter. But what exactly does he hold in highest regard?" "Well, it's not just about me," Rieu said thoughtfully during a recent interview at his majestic castle in Maastricht. "Sure, you're here to ask about me, but it's really about the things that matter most." In that candid conversation with The Standard, André revealed that despite his relentless touring schedule, he and his family still carve out a modest 3-day annual retreat in Rome, an oasis amid the whirlwind of concerts and travel. Beyond that brief respite, though, his life remains firmly anchored in music. He has never taken an extended break, nor does retirement even cross his mind. "It's not just any orchestra," he said with pride. "It's my orchestra. I built it from the ground up. It's my life's work. That's not going to change." The interview took a lighter turn when André joked about being only halfway through his life, given his ambitious goal to live until 140. Despite the years, his mind buzzes with new ideas, plans for future tours, and schemes to surpass the success of his current one already taking shape. Yet, even with all his enthusiasm, he has had to confront some hard truths. André confessed to struggling with sleepless nights after concerts, a dangerous stressor that jeopardizes his fragile health. He reflected on the dark days of the COVID lockdown, describing them as nothing short of torture. In his quest for peace during those restless hours, André turned to baking, a surprising but welcome new hobby. "It's, of course, a great honor to be here, in what I believe is the most beautiful hall in the whole world," he smiled, referencing his performances. But it was the quiet moments spent watching baking tutorials on his iPhone that brought comfort during uncertain times. André Rieu, the world-renowned Dutch violinist and conductor, has always been celebrated for his musical genius and his ability to bring classical music to a broad and enthusiastic audience. Yet, in recent years, fans have been delighted to discover another side of this charismatic artist, his growing passion for culinary arts. What started as a personal hobby soon blossomed into a beloved pastime that André enthusiastically shared with his audience, offering glimpses of his life beyond the concert hall. His culinary creations, ranging from beautifully decorated cakes to hearty homemade dishes, began appearing on his social media platforms, where fans eagerly followed every new recipe and kitchen experiment. This unexpected passion for cooking not only revealed André's playful and creative spirit, but also created a new way for fans to connect with him on a more personal level. It was a refreshing contrast to the poised, elegant persona he displayed on stage, showing that even a classical music icon can find joy in the simple, comforting act of preparing food. This side of André Rieu captured wider public attention when he made a special guest appearance on the popular Dutch television show Heel Holland Bakt, the Netherlands' beloved version of the Great British Bake Off. His participation on the show allowed viewers to see him step away from the violin and into the kitchen, stirring batter and decorating pastries with the same care and precision he brings to his music. The sight of the maestro wielding a rolling pin and donning a chef's apron delighted fans and commentators alike. Light-hearted speculation quickly spread. Could André be ready to trade in his violin for baking tools and embark on a new culinary career? However, André was quick to address these playful rumors, making it clear that while he thoroughly enjoys his time in the kitchen, his heart remains firmly devoted to music. "My heart will always be with music," he stated unequivocally, his passion undiminished and unmistakable. This declaration reassured fans that his culinary adventures are a joyful side hobby rather than a career shift. It is his unwavering love for music and performance that continues to inspire him to captivate audiences worldwide. Through his spokesperson, André emphasized this balance between his hobbies and his professional life. Cooking is something he genuinely enjoys and finds relaxing, a way to unwind from the demanding schedule of tours and performances. Yet, no matter how sweet the pastries or how satisfying the homemade meals, nothing can replace the deep-rooted connection he feels with music. His artistry is not merely a profession, but a vital part of his identity and soul. "No matter the challenges I have faced or may face, I only play the music that touches my heart," André shared in a recent interview, capturing the essence of his artistic philosophy. This statement reflects his commitment to authenticity and emotional truth in his work. His performances are not just about technical excellence, but about conveying feelings and stories that resonate deeply with both himself and his audience. Fans have also wondered about André's health status in recent times, especially given the physically demanding nature of his performances and extensive travel schedules. Touring with an orchestra, performing in grand venues, and maintaining the high standards that have defined his career for decades can take a toll. Yet, André has remained resilient, continuing to deliver energetic, heartfelt concerts that draw audiences from all corners of the globe. Questions have also arisen about whether his culinary pursuits and reflections on personal well-being might signal a shift in his career, particularly concerning future performances in Australia and other far-off locations such as Maastricht. For now, André seems as committed as ever to sharing his music with international audiences, blending the discipline of a seasoned artist with the warmth and joy of someone who knows the importance of balance in life. What do you think about André Rieu's delightful culinary journey alongside his enduring musical career? Does his passion for cooking add a new layer of connection between the artist and his fans? And what are your hopes for his future performances? Will he continue to travel the world? Or might we see him focusing more on projects closer to home? We'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections. Join the conversation by leaving your comments below. And if you enjoy exclusive updates and heartfelt stories from the world of music and entertainment, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Before you go, make sure to check out the next video popping up on your screen. You definitely won't want to miss it.